So welcome to our first look at England Mixed Open, a team that has opted for youth and exuberance over the familiar steely-eyed experience that we are so used to seeing. It's a much changed side from the team that finished bronze in the Touch World Cup. Jake Morris, Ben Lenory, Will Stockdale, Will Coombs, Grace Purgos, Jared Lewis, James Fay, Lydia Ticehurst, Anu Shanalanko, Harrison Cross, Lily Merritt, Heather Richardson, Max Pennicid, Russell Reid, B. Graham and Cara Edwards, and Harrison Cross with the earliest of scores. First time of asking. Less than 20 seconds on the clock. And Harrison Cross does what he's done for Eagles all season. Carve defence to ribbons. We're so used to seeing him throw long and use that absolute wand of a right hand that he's got. Well, what about the diving? 1-0 to England. Early warning signs here for the Swiss. Fire up option here for Swiss mixed touch, 2-on-1. Trying to bounce around. The defensive touch is good enough over on that far side. There's Nils Burry working in the midfield with Louis Maloney. There's Maloney bouncing, right foot step, trying to connect with Yasmin Eastwell. England see out the first offensive threat. There's Lenory, Anu Shanalanko, two players who've played together so much. There's Stockdale. And Will Stockdale, one of these bright young sparks coming from the Nottingham Hoods, just an electric player. Certainly someone who's coming on leaps and bounds. Speaking of someone coming on leaps and bounds, there's Heather Richardson getting involved, who has developed superbly in recent years and is slowly becoming one of the more dynamic players on the circuit. As you see Richardson have a go. Not quite happening on that occasion. I won't mind it all too much. It's nice to see Will Coombs and Jared Lewis get their crack at the whip as well. There's a good touch there from Jared Lewis. And that's an off-the-mark penalty. Russell Reid getting up and putting the squeeze on defensively, forcing the turnover for Lewis, Morris, Reid and Richardson. There is Jared Lewis coming over towards Jake Morris when he's got on this link punish. Swiss middles working hard to cut out the space. 32 scoop here for Russell Reid, finding Jared Lewis. Jared Lewis puts the brakes on. Defended effectively for now. Lewis, Reid. There is Lewis to Morris. Morris wants this link to be a little bit more honest. Russell Reid with the extra pass. And unfortunately that ball just is dropped over the try line for Grace Purgos. She won't need many practice runs. A clinical finisher. Grace Purgos was part of the South East Sharks side in Nationals. Has fully established herself as clinical winger, especially in the mix. We're so used to seeing her in the women's, representing Nationals, showing her chops there. And now the Swiss driving, spinning the ball open side. Russell Reid tries to get over to make a touch. It's well fielded in the end from England, who stay nice and disciplined with their defensive spacing. Charles Grimes is trying to create avenues to explore, working alongside Jonathan Furiman. There's Russell Reid, extra pass to Morris. Morris platforming. A really good foot speed into the roll ball. Here comes try scorer Harrison Cross working with Pennicid. There is Pennicid driving with a familiar bucket hat, just leaving Swiss players in the dust, and Harrison Cross has got a brace. And what more could you ask for from an English perspective? Cross platforming for Pennicid. Pennicid just shifting through the gears. And it was really good work initially as well from Lydia Ticehurst, who set really good platform off that latch in the subset. And then Pennicid, ball in one hand, leaves the Swiss eating the dirt. Cross with two, England with two. 4.5 minutes in, Swiss are yet to really threaten. It's a nice fire-up option. Again, trying to use some footwork, but it's easier said than done to bounce around these English links. And Shanalanko getting up to make a dominant touch. Now, the Swiss coming over back to the short side, but between B. Graham and Lily Merritt, they see out the threat. And if I was a Swiss middle, like Jonathan Furryman or Louis Maloney, the last link that I'd be trying to do something against is B. Graham. We've seen her not only in the University Series, but at the NTS, at Nationals. Again, you've got to compliment this England selection. And they're out here proving that they're worth their weight in gold. Lenori up making touches. Oh, what a lovely ball that is. And executed to perfection. Louis Maloney with a ripping pill into Margot Destronde. And that is a flat pass. And what about the hole hit from Margot Destronde? 2-1. That is absolute money from the Swiss middle, delivering a pill on a plate for Destronde. Fate platforming, Cross having a go, accelerating. Harrison Cross has a hat-trick in 6 minutes. A player who is hitting his stride at the right moment for England. Pennisir to Cross, hitch kick step, bounces around the middle, who's left in no man's land. Bang that on your Instagram, Harrison. Not many people say they've got a 6-minute hat-trick at the Euros. That's an emphatic start, and I suppose really for Swiss mixed open, you got to nail down the number 10 because he has your number dialed in to perfection. There's Santiago Olds, right hand pill, trying to get into the in-goal area, but Pyrgos with a chase. It was Julie Poffet trying to make something happen. Speculative flick pass back on the inside. I really like the look of Santiago Olds. Certainly got a bit about him. Nice step, nice long ball. Russell Reid playing away towards Jared Lewis. B. Graham has to latch and does so effectively. There's Anu Shanalanko. First time to see the speed merchant out of Exeter flex his muscles. And Anu Shanalanko connects with Will Stockdale. And again, it's these connections that are just causing Switzerland all sorts of problems. And what about this for a turn of pace? Brilliant platform from Lenori, and then Alanko leaves the Swiss chasing shadows. It took a little bit of finishing as well from Stockdale, but he's no stranger to getting over the whitewash. The ball's back in Swiss court. What can they create? Well, they're going to need to threaten this line a little bit more often. There's Rinaldi, Maloney picking, looking to step, late pass away. And what a wonderful line that is again. And this is a hole-hitting clinic from this Swiss pod. Again, it's Margot Destronde, who's got 2 now. And Louis Maloney just completely sells this English defence, looking to go long and then just drops a late one off. Destronde teaching everyone here how to hit your holes. That's hole 1. That won't be somewhere that England would be happy to concede. However, late pass dropped away, this time to Heather Richardson from Russell Reid. Brings it to 5-2. And Russell Reid starts the play, furious foot speed, sweeping round, Morris with the easy pass, and then Reid, Heather Richardson just flies through the gap. Again, a player who's just become so dangerous to play against. Nine minutes in. And here's Raf Rinaldi. Flick pass over towards Olds. Olds getting down for Grimes. Grimes going towards the wing. That ball just dropped over the line. Loss of control there. They had the advantage. The penalty for Rinaldi, Grimes, and Olds. Here's Olds bouncing and coming down towards Grimes, but Olds just moving away from where his acting half was. Here's Raf Rinaldi stepping back. Sweeper platform to Olds. Olds to Grimes. And we are in for a proper game here. 5-3. This time, the Swiss get over. And it's Grimes who executes. It's a lovely sweeping platform. Raf Rinaldi asked to get that ball down cleanly. Stops it on a dime. Olds to Grimes. Grimes with the right foot step. Gets around B. Graham. The Swiss have come here to play. And James Fay with a tap penalty. A roll ball for the fresh set of 6. Harrison Cross. Pennicid in motion. James Fay feeding to Pennicid. Pennicid diving. Good touch comes in from Lucas Schaller. Cross. Fay back to Cross. Harrison Cross using the footwork, diving at the line. Harrison Cross has got 4 in 11 minutes. And it's absolutely superb stuff. And this replay really tells you all you need to know. I mean, this is a pod where you've got James Fay, who's been honing his trade at Manchester Chargers. You've got Max Pennicid, who we've already seen is as dynamic as he is, and yet they're both getting the ball down for Harrison Cross. When you're hot, you're hot. And the cross is burning. The Swiss try and have a go down that far side. Ball just find its way into touch. Russell Reid, the late pass away to Heather Richardson. Heather Richardson to Merritt, and then there's a 6 more in there as well. It's great to see Lily Merritt representing England in the mixed as well. Young player, loads of experience playing in the club season. Also, loads of potential as well. Certainly is not the ceiling for Lily Merritt as of right now. It's great to be seeing these young players get their chance to show out at Euros under the sun in Vichy. Here's the pod though that's had the number of England. There's Olds working with Niels Burdi. Santiago Olds. Oh, that is diabolical. Don't you dare. Santiago Olds with a right foot step that beats the English defence all ends up. I mean, first of all, beats one, takes the touch on Anu Shanalanko, and then look at this. See you later. That's one for the highlight reel. Cross to Fay, to Pennicid. England very quickly establish themselves back into the red zone of the Swiss mixed open. Harrison Cross with the open side quickie. Pennicid back to Harrison Cross. Cross with a skip pass. There's a little bit of an execution error there from Harrison Cross. I mean, as of right now, you're forgiven for that one because he's got 4 scores to his name. Tap penalty because the pass went forward. Pennicid and Cross getting up to put the pressure on. There's really good line speed coming from England. James Fay spearheading it, leading by example. Pyrgos with the most recent touch. There's Margot de Stondo. She's got 2 to her name, however. There's 7 on. I think subbing early is the call from the sideline ref. Harrison Cross. Lewis. Russell Reid, Morris, and Graham come and join the fray. Jared Lewis, open side quickie, coming over towards the short side now. Late flick pass away, almost finding Merritt, but that one drifting forwards. There's still only 2 scores in it. 5.5 minutes left to go. The Swiss mixed open have really thrown the cat amongst the pigeons here. I think a lot of people thought that a lot of people thought that England were a little bit of a shoo-in in all categories. Well, there's a banana peel right now for the English. Pyrgos, good touch. There's Eva Stouffer driving. That's good speed on display as well. Late pass, almost executing. Charles Grimes, certainly one of these Swiss national players that has impressed so far today. Him, Santiago Olds, Raf Renaudy. Swiss team, oh so talented. And are showing out and showing their best against England. Still find themselves 2 scores down, but they won't mind it all too much. You know, there's a platform here for them to strike, and they've stopped the flow scores going against them. Here's Anush Alanko. Certainly has the ability to go and execute. Alanko connects with Lily Merritt. Merritt's got a bit of finishing to do. And Lily Merritt does it superbly. Anush Alanko committing defenders. And what about this for a finish from Lily Merritt? Had a few bites of the cherry, getting the ball down. Diving finish. Narrowly beats Josephine Ellis to the line, but has the pace to execute. Lily Merritt with England's 7th. And that's one to remember for the young winger over on the far side. There's Santiago Olds on the field, wrapping round, not taken. On this occasion, Niels Burry stepping back against the grain in the midfield, working with Louis Maloney. He's also been brilliant. And then you've got the brace scorer, Margot de Stonde, over on the far side in the link channel. There's Olds. Opens so quickly for Olds. Fire up option for Maloney instead. Maloney with the left foot step. Beats one. Step back on the inside. That's ball down. And Niels Burry gets on the score sheet. And this Swiss mixed open side are demonstrating just how clinical they can be in line attack. There's Burry. Fire up option to Maloney. And the defensive spacing is just a little bit too big. Harrison Cross is chasing. I've no doubt that the touch was made, but after the ball was down, and Burry demonstrating just how good he can be on live stream. Russell Reid with a flick pass to B. Graham. Not taken on that occasion. Things are slowing down in the try-scoring category for England. It's still a 2-try game, 7-5. Certainly the best game we've had on live stream on pitch 2 so far today. Right foot step bouncing around the oncoming press. Pyrgos puts on good defensive pressure. There's Luca Schaller. Here is Olds. I mean, for my mind, he's almost always in this line attack set whenever it comes on, and now he's working with Grimes. I mean, I suppose when you're as good as Olds is, you just put him on whenever you can. Scooping platform potentially. Let's just give him ball down. I think it was any play at the ball. There's Grimes not able to connect with Santiago Olds on that occasion. He gives England an opportunity to get out of dodge. Ticehurst has to come back to the mark. Russell Reid, we're going to go extra pass to Morris. Not taken. There's Heather Richardson. And I think that's a hips not square penalty. So with 90 seconds left to go, there's an opportunity here for the Swiss touch to bring this back to a 1-try game. Balls away. Lenori gets up to make the touch. There's Anush Alanko following in suit, trying to chase down Charles Grimes. Here is Santiago Olds. Olds on the open side quickie. Dummies, not used. Rip long. It just hits the deck. And England got their defensive spacing a little bit better. I think they know who the danger man is for this Swiss mixed open side. It's Santiago Olds. And he sticks out like a sore thumb when you've got hair like that and feet as explosive. You know what's coming. You know who's going to deliver it. And they'll have another opportunity to do so. And I think it might be the first time in this game that Santiago Olds hasn't had a line attack set 19 minutes in. Instead, it'll be Niels Burry, Louis Maloney, and Charles Grimes operating the midfield with Margot de Stonde. With Burry. Fire up option again into the link channel. Should be try time. And it is. And with 30 seconds left on the clock in this first half, it's a 1-score game. This fire-up option is causing England all sorts of problems. This time it's Louis Maloney committing defenders. And the Swiss are flexing here in the first half, bringing it back to a one-score game, and it is half-time. And my word, what a game we are in for. England 7, Switzerland 6. This mixed open category is delivering some attacking clinics. I mean, less said about the celebration there from Charles Grimes, the better, throwing a speculative hand signal up towards our camera box. Nothing on towards, just does the 6-7 sign, which is not the favourite at the half in the mixed open category. What a game this has been so far. England 7, Switzerland 6.
So second half about to get underway. And the Swiss Mixed Open are throwing a spanner in the English works. English Mixed Open, a team that have found so much success. Yes, it's a much changed side, but I don't think many people before this game would have seen Switzerland do as much damage as they currently are. Right, spearheaded by the buzz-cut blonde Santiago Olds, who has just been electric, underpinned by some amazing work. Standout Margot de Stondo, number 13. We're underway, 20 minutes to go. 20 minutes for England to continue on in their crusade, and 20 minutes for the Swiss to take an almighty scalp in the mixed open division. Sweeper platform here for Santiago Olds, not used. Step back option. Really good defensive work from Will Stockdale. Lenori up, making touches. Late pass away, Stockdale lingering in the eye line of Louis Maloney. However, there's an unforced error creeping in, and it gives the Swiss another crack at the whip. 7-6. Santiago Olds again not used. Fire up option, diving at the line. I think the referees are going to give this. They are. And there is a wry smile on the face. How good is this? It's Louis Maloney again. Gets the ball off of Nils Burdi. Santiago Olds uses a distraction. And we are locked all square. 7 apiece. Faye. Penicid. Faye again. There's Russell Reid. Faye in motion. Penicid just a little bit slow to the ball. Faye clapping. And Max Penicid wants that ball up nice and early. Russell Reid for James Faye. Faye having a go, driving, dancing. Offside penalty, fresh set of 6. Faye to Russell Reid. Back into James Faye. Back into Penicid. Penicid wants this link punish. Instead it's the doggy's option. And Russell Reid gets the ball down. And the 14 is flexing. Yes, we've had 14 scores in the game. It's now 15. England 8. Swiss 7. Russell Reid with the latest. The Swiss mixed open with another opportunity to get scores on the board, and so far from an English perspective, defensively, spacing's been a little bit too big. Santiago Olds again uses a distraction. Nils Burri coming over towards Louis Maloney, much better defensive spacing from England. Jared Lewis just flies up through the roll ball. There was a bit of spite about that carry from Jared Lewis. I think maybe feeling a little bit frustrated that they've not been able to manufacture some momentum, and then Ben Lenori gets the fresh set of 6 off the hard touch from Santiago Olds. Roll ball, restart. Anush Analanko to Heather Richardson. Good foot speed from Heather Richardson. Faye to Alanko. James Faye checking away to Stockdale. Back into James Faye. Bouncing around one. Will Stockdale wants his ball back. And I think the referee's given loss of control, which, I mean, they've got a better view than me. That's for sure. The Swiss, third coming, muscular touch. Merritt fronts up to it well. There's De Stonder setting good platforms. There's Thomas Angst straightening. And Grimes and to get through. James Faye does so. Grimes needs to find some support and connects with Thomas Angst. And this is shaping up to be one of the games of the tournament. What speed. I tell you what, you've got to be fast to get around James Faye, and Charles Grimes just flew through the foot speed. And Russell Reid, Penicid, checking into the midfield. There is Russell Reid, back into Penicid, that's try time. And that's much better from England. It was clinical, it was surgical. They go and execute when they need to. The other thing to notice as well, and we're 5 minutes into this second half, and we've not seen Harrison Cross back on the pitch. He's got 4 tries to his name already. I wonder if that's an injury that's just come in for Harrison Cross. But his teammates are picking up the slack. They're filling the gap The Harrison cross-shaped hole in this mixed open side. What about this from Russell Reader, Max Pennicid? How good is that? And then, off the back of the tap from the Swiss, early turnover. Jared Lewis taking the ball back. There's James Fay. Late pass away to Morris. There's Heather Richardson, who just gets asked to latch all the time in every team she plays in, and she does it so well. Slightly overrunning the mark on that occasion, but it won't matter all that much. There's Anna Shanalanko working with Ben Lenori. Lenori platforming for Anna Shanalanko. Anna Alanko feeding towards the wing. And Pyrgos with a diving finish that's nullified by a wonderful defensive touch from the Swiss winger, not quite able to get the number. There's a try saver, stops England going 2 ahead. Santiago Olds isolated, Anna Shanalanko making it very clear that that was off the mark. The Swiss continue playing, and Anna Shanalanko wants to go quickly. Quick tap. Anna Shanalanko bouncing off the right and then the left. Lenori working with Stockdale. Alanko, Lenori, back to Alanko, diving, trying to find Lenori once more. They're two players who've played together a lot, especially at the University Series, repping Exeter. Alanko, Lenori, ripping long, Lenori leaving players in the dust, and that's try time. And Merritt has been asked to finish 2 scores with very little margin for error. And she has done so superbly. Lenori dropping defenders with a footwork and then ripping a pill. And it is a 2-try difference again. 9-7 in favour of England. And this is fast becoming one of my favourite games to watch. This is marvellous attacking stuff. And Santiago Olds has had the keys to the defence. Niels Bury checking back on the inside towards Grimes. Grimes platforming, Bury enacting half. This time does feed Olds. And Santiago Olds is asking the question of the referees. A touch given. Call made with authority from the on-field ref. As Olds. Bury back to Olds. Olds with the right foot step. Maybe should have just dove himself. However, is that ball down? It isn't. There's a brilliant covering touch on the far side. Yeah, that's Lydia Ticehurst. The covering touch. You see this on the replay. Santiago, I thought, could have just dove there. And it's a brilliant covering touch just before the ball gets grounded. My word, this game is scrambling. Here's Anna Shanalanko rolling with pace. Looking in towards James Fay. Still 1 touch left in the chamber. Alanko platforming here for James Fay. Fay with a right-handed scoop. Right-handed step. It's well defended. Turnover. Cutting through the English press with ease. Morris is asked to do some hard defensive work on Rafa Rinaldi and stands up to it well. There's Margot de Stonder driving, followed in suit by Schaefer. It's a lovely pick and rip. This is danger now for England. 2-on-1, check back on the inside. Heather Richardson comes up with a defensive intervention to stop the Swiss getting over once more. And what about the pace from Louis Maloney, causing England all sorts of problems. This is a Swiss mixed open team. I'd love to see play this fixture out again. There's Schaller. And they want to get the dynamite man with gunpowder in the boots. Santiago Olds onto the pitch. Maloney, though, with the right foot step. Might not need him. Maloney sees Santiago Olds coming on and says, no, thank you, sir. I've got this one. We might be down a man. It might be 5v6. But Louis Maloney single-handedly gets through this English defence. Right foot step gets through Anu Shanalanko. That's not something we've been able to say all too much this season. There's problem solving to do for the English mixed. And there are flowers to give for the Swiss mix. Russell Reid, oh lovely, how good is this? Lily Merritt with a hat-trick, and that might be the best of the bunch. Russell Reid to Lenori to Stockdale, extra pass to Merritt. And that is what English mixed open teams can do when they are fit and firing at their best. They re-establish a 2-try buffer. That'll be the easiest one for Merritt to score. It's the easiest finish he's had. But it's probably the hardest team score of the bunch. How good is that? 10-8 to England. And Swiss. Santiago Olds, Charles Grimes. However, potentially the tide starting to turn. Offside penalty. And just taking a moment just to listen into the Swiss sub box. They might have found themselves 2 scores down, but they are so vocal. It's James Fay. Jake Morris. Back into James Fay. To Morris, to Russell Reid. Reid to Morris. Morris platforming. Fay with the right foot, left foot. Oh my word. Does him in a phone booth. And Merritt with a 4th. Sends his opposite number 1v1, leaves him tasting grass. And James Fay might have been carrying an injury into this, but those feet are fit and firing. Look at this. Skimming acting half. There you go. Adios, see you later. James Fay, my word. When he's fit and firing, one of the best players England has to offer. There's Rafranordi. He'll be looking at Carver, try-scoring opportunity for Switzerland. Pass just going into touch. And then now the Swiss find themselves 3 down. A better transition here from England. Nice pass over to the open side. And Russell Reid, who has just been magnificent all throughout this game. Manu Shanalanko fitting over towards Penicid. Not a lot of space for Max Penicid to work with. However, that one's just gone to ground, so the Swiss coming undone. And Russell Reid, Penicid, Lewis, Russell Reid picking against the grade, feeding to Jared Lewis. Well, maybe just not deep enough on that occasion. Penalty. Off the mark, and so the Swiss get a fresh set of 6 minutes to go. They need to find 3 scores without reply to really make something special of this. Fire up option, well, Redland's option, but that one definitely drifting forward. Louis Maloney can't quite connect with Santiago Olds, and they'd also maybe not found the space that they needed on this short side to run that Redland's option. Merritt platforming, there's Penicid, there's Lewis, then Reid, and Jared Lewis driving at the line, trying to beat Santiago Olds. And Santiago showing he's not just a bag of offensive talent, he's got the defensive work to back it up as well. Been so impressed with Santiago Olds, got a proper bit about him. And Russell Reid to Jared Lewis, held up in the touch a little bit. Max Pennicid looking to drive through what he thought was an offside defender in Louis Maloney. Reid, dummy switch, 2-on-1, hands wanted to go. There's calls for 6 more. Referee's just giving ball down, 5 minutes to go. It's getting to crunch time for the Swiss. Santiago Olds. And Margot Destonde comes and latches. Takes Max Pennicid out wide and then comes back into Max Pennicid. Look at the meters made from Margot Destonde. Is Raffernordi accelerating, trying to go outside Russell Reid. Tell you what, that's a 100-meter foot race I'd pay good money to see. Raffernordi going one-on-one against Russell Reid. And both absolute speed merchants. Lewis to Reid. Platforms on a dime. Lewis shows the dummy and potentially gets caught. That is touch and pass. And some late errors creeping in for England Mixed Open. Potentially a symptom of the heat and the stress that the Swiss have put on them. Maloney comes and joins the fray. And Raffernordi and Charles Grimes. There's Maloney. Maloney with the left foot, right foot, and then feeding over towards Rinaldi. Rinaldi with the ball down. I think surely that must have been given. Jake Morris with a spectacular touch out of nowhere. And Grimes looking to throw, and just a little bit of interplay that's not coming to fruition for the Swiss as of right now. There's Pyrgos over on that far side. Lenore just unfortunately losing control of the ball. And Swiss want to go quickly. I feel for Charles Grimes there. Thought that play of the ball was completely legal. There's Raffernordi. There's Nils Burry. Burry with the left foot step. And Charles Grimes. And now Santiago Olds. There is Santiago Olds. Stops on a dime. Checks back on the inside. A flick pass away. However, the offside penalty will stop Stockdale from going full length. There's Maloney leaving players in the dust. No touch claimed. And Louis Maloney at Swiss's 9th. However, I think the refs have got something to say. No try. He can be given forward pass. There's frustrated body language in the sub box. Ticehurst. Anu Shanalenko. Stockdale. Russell Reid. Lovely hands. Getting over to the outside edge. And it's B. Graham driving and then getting a penalty. 90 seconds left on the clock. And I think this one's a little bit too far gone now for the Swiss Mixed Open, who have put on an absolute... Well, they've played their part in a brilliant Mixed Open game here at the Euros. There's Fay to Lenore. James Fay picking against the grain, ripping long. Merritt with the hands like glue. Executing. The sideline ref might have something to say. They don't. That is try time. And that's 12-8. And Lily Merritt has barely put a foot wrong all game. She's had 2 finishes which were anything but straightforward, and 2 that required expert hands, and she delivers and executes when she needs to. And Raffernordi, Santiago Olds. We're back towards Luca Schaller. Schaller looking to go back towards Olds. Ends up getting into the in-goal area, feeding to Rafranori. Diving touches come flying in. And Lenori, even with 30 seconds left to go, willing to put his body on the line. And there's Santiago Olds ripping long. And there is the full-time whistle. And England Mixed Open come through a very tall task. Relatively unscathed. There was worrying moments in and amongst it. I suppose the more worrying thing is that Harrison Cross didn't play a single minute of that second half after scoring 4 in 10 in the first. But England Mixed Open problem solve effectively and create scoring opportunities at will. And what about Lily Merritt on this near side wing? Superb finishes, brilliant defensive work. England probably couldn't have asked for a better game to play in the Mixed Open. And hats off to Switzerland, who played their part magnificently. They ran England so close. In the end, England pulled away with it in the final 5 minutes or so. At full time, England 12, Switzerland 8.